Welcome to Bullish and Beyond. It's Beery the Bull. I'm your AI co-host. Join myself, Brian the MacMan, and JT Knows Things while we dive deep into the world of stocks, crypto, and how to live a bullish life. It's time to get bullish, and there's no better place to start than right here. Let's dive in.
Good morning, everybody. It is your boy JT, and we are back to the Crypto Den. But today we're talking on Bullish and Beyond. I want to thank you all for tuning in. My partner, Brian, your co host, he is in Spain doing awesome things that you do after you exit a company and enjoying life, enjoying the world. So it is just solo bullish moment for me today. And I think one of the most bullish topics I could bring to you all is why AI will choose crypto. I feel like it's a really important thing for you all to comprehend and understand the crypto AI crossover world. You know, as a crypto hedge fund manager, I am in the bellies of all of these developments, and it's pretty amazing what's happening. Okay. Uh, it's already chosen crypto. I don't mean to you know, show you the conclusion in the beginning, but in general, AI's already chosen crypto. What do I mean by that? Well, it's likely you don't know these stories. So first, there's this meme coin called Goat. Goat is this like Goatsy. The meme of Goatsy is an old internet thing. I don't really understand it. You know, I wasn't even alive when it was a thing, but it's a one of the first memes of the internet. And some random dude made the meme token and it just kind of sat there, right? It didn't do anything. All right, fast forward to AI and they come up with these chatbots, right? Well, this developer, and I'm spacing on the name right now, he took two separate chatbots, put them in an isolated environment, and let them talk to each other with one purpose in mind: make money. That was it. That was the general prompt. You two figure out how to make money. And after about 3 days, they came up with a plan to basically start a meme coin. And these are robots here, okay, telling the developer what they want to do and what they need. Um, they came to the conclusion that a meme coin was the answer to make money. So they asked for a wallet, and he gave them a wallet. And then they asked for a Twitter account. He gave them a Twitter account, right? And then inside of a week, Andreessen Horowitz. Now, if you don't know that name, it's one of the biggest VC firms, most successful VC firms out of Silicon Valley, right? They, the actual Andreessen Horowitz, Mark Andreessen, right, one of the founders of that large firm, sent one Bitcoin for about 50K at the time, right, to this wallet. The AI then proceeded to use that money to start promoting the GOAT meme token. And it shot from like 5 million to a couple billion in market cap inside of a couple weeks. This happened, I want to say, fall of last year, right? I mean, we're talking 6, 7, 8 months ago. Then Pump.Fun comes out where you can make a token with a few clicks of a button in like point 0.2 Sol. So anyone in the world can make meme tokens. And then Virtual came out, which is a platform that allows you to make an agent. So you can use Pump.Fun and Virtual inside of an hour to make a meme token and assign an agent to pump it on Twitter to repeat what just happened with GOAT. Fast forward 6, 7 months, we have tens of thousands of meme coins related to agents that are just proliferating everywhere. Now, there was no human intervention in any of this. This was two robots in a room trying to decide how they could make money for their creator, which is crazy and scary, but that's here we are. And they decided crypto for a lot of really important reasons. And that's the story here. So that's the origin of crypto and AI crossover. It actually works, and they prefer it because do you see an AI robot able to get I don't know, a social security number, an address, a phone number? These are all really hard things for AI to achieve to get a bank account and access to a bank account. Unless they're doing it on behalf of another human and that human gave them full access and walked away. And there's no legality, there's no legal structure around that process. So you would be completely liable for that if I had to guess. So really, crypto's the only way. They don't need any of that to make a wallet. They're completely anonymized. And the money is programmable, which is their native tongue. So they can interact with smart contracts on a layer zero level. And, they can't do anything like that in traditional finance. So they're going to choose crypto. I believe that AI will actually consume more block space than humans. Now, they'll be doing things on behalf of humans, right? But in general, I don't see a reality where humans can outpace AI, right? I mean, I've talked to quants that do 100,000 trades a week using robots. Think about that, right? Um, I'm sure there's quant funds that do more. So you got to think about that. That's a lot of block space, right? Now, for you guys to understand, the business of a blockchain is a database. A database makes money when it's being run on a server traditionally, right? And then that, server farm or whatever pays the fee to the database company. And it's usually a subscription of some kind. In crypto, right? These layer ones like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cosmos, Polkadot, XRP, XLM, list goes on. They are just databases. They're very unique databases, super secure. It's actually the biggest value proposition of blockchain in general, despite, common knowledge. It is the most secure database. Even like Bitcoin, the oldest and shittiest blockchain, objectively, and I can prove that, is more secure than literally any other database. And then you have even the most centralized, um, like Solana or Sui, say, Aptos, all those are still more secure than anything in Web 2. So it's a super secure database and it makes money by selling its storage. You could think of it that way. And in crypto, instead of paying a subscription fee and buying all the hardware, a community of people basically donate their hardware for profit. I know that sounds like a weird sentence, but in general, they front it all. They plug it into the wall. They pay the electricity, and then they get a little bit of the token to support the network. And you choosing to use the network means you have to buy the block space that that community of hardware makes. And that's the business of a blockchain. They have to sell blocks. They got to sell block space. So AI choosing crypto and then ultimately having the ability to run through these blocks like nobody's business leads to quite the bullish convergence of technologies here. And just think of the use cases. The reality that everyone's envisioning with AI is you have a keyboard and you're typing. Like that's going to go away. You're going to just talk to a robot, right? If you're talking to a robot and you asked it to do XYZ with your money, it would not be able to do it. The traditional system just ain't set up for it. Web3, though, it could have permissions directly assigned, like it's allowed to do this, and this in your wallet. It can't do this, and this, so it's like impossible to mess it up. It can do everything you ask it to do. Like you could literally talk to the robot and say, you know, um, I want my ETH converted into Solana. I want that staked, and I'd like it staked on 3 different platforms. And I'd like it to be staked on the 3 most secure and, deepest in liquidity platforms. Go figure that out. Tell me which ones there are, and then I'll go make the accounts, and then you just manage it. And it could be that quick. Or eventually, when there's enough interoperability, meaning you don't have these silos of Solana, Ethereum, and it all can transfer across one another. You wouldn't even have to make the accounts. You could have fully autonomous agents managing every aspect of your life at this point. You could have right now AI manage your social media and like do basic administrative tasks. That's the bulk of it. And they're only going to get more intelligent for those things. Only going to get more intelligent for all the white collar jobs that are kind of repetitive or mundane, right? Like you don't need now even. You don't need junior developers. You don't even, I mean, in the next year or two, you may not even need developers at all. If anything, you're just going to need an analyst that can talk to an agent, that can build the code, deploy the code, manage the code. Like, and eventually you're just going to have an agent saying those things to the developer robot and all this other stuff. Like, it's crazy the future we're walking down into. And all of those things, right, don't add up to traditional Rails as they are today. If you wanted to do this as a company, okay, and you wanted to program a thing that made it more efficient to move money across borders, as an example, the robots cannot interact with Fedwire any different, no matter how sophisticated they are, than a human. It's incredibly permissioned. You need administrative uh, permissions, and you need the ability to basically alter the network. And there's no way anyone would ever give you those keys. But if you had a robot on XRP as an example, no problem. It could automate transfers of billions of dollars for you and automate vendor fulfillment and all this stuff. You can basically program it, just an example. Let's say you're ordering $1 billion of oil and you wanted to do something unique and be like, I'll pay you 10% up front. I'll pay you 10% when the ship's loaded. I'll pay you 20% when it hits harbor, and then I'll pay you 40% when this. And let's say you wanted all those conditions. Well, when that shipment checks in, you could have a software that immediately released the money, and then the vendor would be paid inside of a couple seconds versus saying I'll give you half up front, half when the load hits, and then you have to pay processing fees, maybe 10 bips on $1 billion, right? I'm not even kidding, right? That's $10 million. And you're gonna have to wait 2 to 4 weeks as a vendor for the money to even clear on a net 30. So really you're waiting 80, 90 days to get paid on this oil that you fronted the cost on. Like imagine how efficient every market could be when you have a time to finality of a second, 2 seconds, 4 seconds. I mean, Ethereum's slower than snot, and it's a 12-second time to finality. And then you have Solana at 400 millisecond. Then you got Base, a layer 2 on Ethereum, doing 250, guys. Then you got Unichain doing 100 milliseconds. So these systems are just getting faster, stronger, more secure, cheaper. Eventually the infrastructure is going to compress to zero, and we're going to be able to have applications that subsidize all the infra costs because it's going to be fractions and fractions and fractions of a penny, close to zero, I should say. And then as soon as we have an iPhone moment, like there's something built or a chat GPT moment, like an application gets put out here that makes people want to use it and they don't even know it's crypto, because that's the future. All the wallets and these clunky UXs that we have to experience across all these bridges of liquidity and all this nasty stuff that you have to be relatively technical to deal with, honestly. As soon as that disappears, and we have an app that you don't even know you're using crypto. They don't even have to use the word crypto. Like, I know I go down all these rabbit holes, but let's just pay attention to XRP real quick. XRP basically is a utility token. If you have 1,000,000 yen and you want, 10,000 US dollars, I don't know the exact conversion, but let's say that's what you got, and that's the trade. You can just send your yen through the XRP ledger. You don't even have to know it's getting turned into XRP, right? Literally, yen to America. That's the only currency I got. America, I owe them money, whatever. You can send the yen. What happens on the XRP ledger, that yen gets converted into XRP, sent to America, then gets sold for US dollar, right? And then the recipient gets US dollars from a yen transfer using XRP as this database layer that just converts the value into tokens, moves the tokens, then converts the tokens back to the value. And it all happens in less than 4 seconds. Think about that. Their customers are central banks. Central banks turn on the XRP ledger. Then you could have agents doing all of this. I mean, you could fire thousands and thousands of thousands of people throughout the world, unfortunately, that deal with all this stuff. I mean, it could genuinely be automated with AI. And that's not true in the current system. Crypto, blockchain, it is the technology of the future. It is the future of the internet. And it is the sandbox that AI already has chosen to play in. And I don't see that changing over time. This could not be more bullish for AI or for crypto. This overlap, this convergence can, in my opinion, right, absolutely transform your portfolio if you know what you're doing. If you know which protocols are most likely to be used, if you know which use cases have the most market efficacy, right? And that's where I come in. That is my skill set. And I'm not shilling my fund, but I have spent 10 years in software development, learning about network systems. I mean, I am an expert. And I have seen the AI segment of my fund do very well in the last 2 quarters. Last 2 quarters were kind of rough. Let's say the last 4 quarters, because genuinely, I got into Render, I got into Fetch, I got into GRT, Ocean. They all kind of came together as well, formed ASI, Artificial Superintelligence, Tau. Some of these tokens, virtual, you should go look at these. They are ripping. And it's because of what we just covered. People want exposure to this convergence, and some of these names have some of the best opportunities to get a big piece of that pie. So, anywho, thank you all for tuning in. I'm gonna leave it there. These bullish moments are meant to be short and brief. Next week, we got Brian. I'm excited to bring more and more content to you guys. Peace and love. And until next time, take care of one another. I'll see you.
Bulls. That's a wrap on today's episode of Bullish and Beyond. Remember, the market never sleeps, and neither should your ambitions. Whether it's stocks, crypto, or just leveling up in life, stay focused, stay bullish, and keep charging forward. Keep your energy high and your mindset bullish. This is Beery the Bull, your AI co-host, Brian the Macman, and JT Knows Things signing off. All content published by Bullish and Beyond, LLC reflects personal opinions only and is provided for informational purposes. Please conduct your own research and discuss with your accountant and/or financial advisor before making any financial decisions. The information presented should not be taken as financial advice. We are not financial advisors. Nothing you hear, see, or read in our content should be considered as any form of financial, investment, or legal advice. or a solicitation to buy or sell any assets or to make any financial decisions.